Hey, bless up, fam. How y'all doing? Hope everything's going well in your life. Hope life is treating you well. Welcome on in. Thank you for coming in. Let me know if y'all can hear me and see me clearly. Turn it back so I won't have overshadow. Been outside today. Been enjoying this beautiful weather, trying to be productive. How y'all doing today? If you can hear me and see me as well, if you don't mind, can you please give me a thumbs up? Give me a thumbs up coming on in. Hope everything's going well in your life. Hope life is treating you well. Kathy B, what's going on? What's going on? Kathy B, bless up. Glad to see you in here today. Put some T's in the chat if you're coming in thankful. And you know there's not a based on you. Not based on all the goodness that you have done, even though you're done good. You're done great. We made some mistakes along the way, but at the same time, we done some good. But you know it's not based on that, but it's based on being grateful about if it wasn't for our Creator, if it wasn't for God, we wouldn't be here. If you know that and you're grateful for it, put some T's in the chat. Go and put some T's in the chat. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. It is a beautiful day. We're on a fall day today. And I hope y'all ready to go. I hope y'all motivated. I hope y'all really ready to go because I want to talk to you today about some things. And we started out this week with words of encouragement, words of empowerment, and we're going to kind of give you a push. Today is what? Hump day. So we're going to give you a push to slide on into the weekend. And we can call this week a check in our books of life. Now, I know you all have done great things. I know you all continue to do great things. I know you continue to be leaders in your own world. I know that you have blessed others. I know that you have spoke positivity no matter where you're going, no matter what you're doing. And trust me, the world sees you. The world sees you at the same time. Bless up. What's up, family man? What's going on? Good to see you, family man. Mariah McLean, good to see you. Put some T's in the chat. Coming in thankful. I see you. I see you. Zone 7A looks like. Bless up, bless up, bless up. Gigi, how you doing, Queen? Good to see you. My internet is sketchy in this building, so I'll be listening in the background. I appreciate you coming on in. Ain't nothing like a beautiful queen supporting you. No matter where she is at, there's nothing like it. We ought to be grateful. Put some T's in the chat. We all should be grateful. Fam, I'm going to jump right on in here. I'm not going to waste your time. I'm not going to labor this situation, but we got a lot of stuff going on, right? And I want to share with you some things as I look at nature. Matter of fact, let me open up my windows because I'm seeing some butterflies, some moth flies, and some birds flying around. But one thing I keep encouraging everyone to do is pay attention to nature because we're walking into some times that may be us in our lifetime. Generation X for myself, some generations are above and below me as far as time-wise. But there's some things that we're facing right now. I'm seeing job transition. I'm seeing more artificial intelligence creeping into people's workforce. People say they need people to work, but they're making the jobs harder to get by the application process, right? They're still doing antiquated stuff with screening people. And you say you need a job, you say you need things to work on. Let's keep it real. We're watching immigration. I don't know if y'all been paying attention, and I get it. Forget whatever your party is affiliation. We're just going to talk about generality. We're going to talk about real hardcore facts. Not just United States, but people are pouring into areas and regions that they normally won't do. And there's a point in time where we understand that people are looking for happiness in life. They're looking for milk and honey. Do y'all remember where it talks about the land of milk and honey? I'm always talking about empowering you to buy land, to buy land, to buy land, to buy land. Now, some people saying, from some of the comments that I received, it's hard for me to trust this system when valuation of land ownership goes down, when the uncertainty of this country goes down, when it's so many different things. And some people are predicating their future based on the election that's getting ready to happen. The election gonna happen. Whoever is in power, the world will still continue to spin, because the people who help control the entities, let's not talk about people. The entities that continue to let things happen will still be in control, whoever is the presidency. That's the crazy thing. It doesn't matter. Do you not know there's levels to life? Let's not get caught up into just the small things. And that's why I titled this thing today, Ants. It's about the ants. Survival, true survival. Let us learn from ants. I've already shared multiple analogies about ants, but we're going to take a little bit step further because we can learn a lot from ants. We're watching so many distractions that we're not paying attention to surviving. We're speaking so much about people that don't care nothing about you, never cared, won't care. And we putting so much attention on matters that we cannot put a dent in. We're celebrating criminals and crooks being freed. We're watching destruction happen in our communities. We're seeing interruption with our jobs, with our economy. We're watching so many different things just unravel. And my question is, I never forget. One time I was working at a manufacturing plant, and there was a part of that assembly line where they deem every single part on that assembly line, it has a scale. And one of the integral parts were, if this particular part goes out, you run it to failure. You do not replace it until it fails. You do not replace this part that's integral in making it happen unless it fails. This is written into the standard protocol. Does not matter how much damage it causes, does not matter how much cost it costs, a downtime, anything. You do not stop or replace that intricate piece until it fails. No matter what happens with the weather, no matter what happens with the economy, no matter what happens in the political world, there are some things that are designed that affects each and every one of us to run to failure. And the designers, the creators know that it will do that. And whether they replace the assembly line, or whether they replace the part and the damages that it caused, there's a point in time when they know when that particular equipment fails, they're going to have some serious downtime. Or it can be complete shutdown of the operation. Although we don't know, as employees, we did not know, but we knew that someone made the decision to allow that part to fail. Where am I going with this? Where I'm going with this is, we are in a situation in life where we don't have the answers, and anybody tell you they got the answers, I would question them. But one thing that we do have history. We do have success and failures in history. We do have procedure manuals. We do have guidelines that's going to help us through life. I always refer to the book of life. I got to refer to the book of life because that is the most consistent documentation based on the fundamental, the whole truth of the document. I don't care whether, if the story is put your faith, trust, honor, respect this particular entity. I don't care whether they're yellow, black, blue, green, where they came from, none of that. They showed me something. If someone showed me a map of a building that's on fire and how to get out of that building that's on fire, I don't care whether they alcoholic, drunkard, drug user, liar, conniver. And it's been proven that this is credible. They handed me that map. I'm going to take the map and I'm going to analyze. I'm going to process it. If it's saying I am here and I know I made a left and a right and right and left, you know, it's got to be a point where you got to understand that truth will stand. And all else will follow. Have you ever noticed you're in your garden, you're walking around in your garden? Homestead Rachel, how you doing? How you doing? You walking in your garden, right? Nice, beautiful, sunny spring day, everything blooming, everything going nice, but you step into your garden, and then you want to ground yourself to the earth. You bonding, you connecting, you living, you absorbing, getting this vitamin D, you getting all this positive energy. And one ant could bite you on your smallest toe. And you take all of your attention away and focus on that one ant. My friends, in nature, we can learn a lot about life. And when you look at the totality of what's going on, it's not just the United States, but it's world transition. We're watching countries bond together. We're watching countries go against this particular country. And we watch it like it's nothing because we feel helpless. We feel like we have nothing to do. But what we have the same thing the ants do. You know, when me and Gigi bought this property has been an agricultural property for I don't know how long. The company that we bought it from, they used this property for timber. There were times when they planted timber, there was time they took timber, but the ants still stayed here. Did they leave? Did they abandon? Did they go? There was times when the survey guy came out, and the survey came out multiple times. Inspectors came out multiple times. But do you not know that when they noticed that Eco and Gigi bought this property, they still kept going about their day? We ripped up trees. We laid down earth. We destroyed some of their colonies. We took away some of their food. We messed up their habitat in certain areas. Now, certain areas weren't even affected. Some areas, they never changed. But you know what the ants did? They adapted. They pivoted. Did not give up. They did not say, I'm done with life. They kept pushing on, and they dealt with the consequences. They dealt with the change in life, right? They dealt with these things in life. And so we must too, at the same time. I want to share a few things with you about some ants. And I think, and I'm hoping that you find it just as fascinating as I did. But then I'm hoping that you see yourself in this situation. And I'm hoping that you find a way where you don't give up on life. You don't give up on what we need to do. And I hope that you find a way to colonize, just like the ants did, unite, build a community, because somehow I really don't feel like we building a community. I really don't feel, I think we're giving up on humanity in a lot of cases. We don't trust people. We don't trust that there's good people. We don't trust that there's people that really care about you. But somehow we're going to have to get rid of that. We're going to have to relax and understand that, look, I got to build tribes. I got to build communities, because we cannot do this thing alone. I've seen times when I've been in the garden and I moved an object that was sitting in the garden, and it was a snake. And that snake, I didn't have a weapon at the time, but that snake was a threat to me. That snake was a threat to anything that I cared about came into that garden. But just on the edge of that garden, you know what I had? I had an ant bed. Now I took that snake and I tried to give it a least amount, well, the maximum amount of thrashings that I could. And then when it was trying to gather itself, I placed it in the ant bed. And you know what the ant bed did? Anything that comes on the ant bed, fire ant bed, y'all know what happens. There are some peoples that's in place that's deciding what happens with our destiny in so many ways. Physical. That's what I mean by physical, because man cannot do anything other than physical. Some things that we can't decide, some things that we don't know. But many ant species, especially the red imported fire ant, has spread it globally based on human activities. And what does that mean, Eco? They traveled in ships, planes, cargo containers, people, clothing, animals. They did whatever it took to survive. We have to get in survival mode. We need to understand that what if a hurricane happened over the United States? And I don't mean a storm, y'all. I'm talking about tribulations. I'm talking about catastrophic situations. Because ain't no way in the world you sitting here and you've been here for 30 or 40 years or what, 30 years and more, and you don't see changes. Like, I'm at a big box store that buy groceries, and you can buy anything at that big box store, and they got a blue and a yellow logo. Y'all know what I'm talking about. And even off season, I'm watching truckloads of people get off of buses, and they coming in. I'm watching them running out of shopping carts and everything, and they buying everything up. And that's just 1 week. When it used to maybe be like, maybe a bus load, maybe a van, maybe whatever. We watching cities. And why in the world would people give to people who are not supposed to be here? Let me tell you, don't be foolish, people. Pay attention to what's going on. There's things that are not in your favor. And what will we do in spite of these times? We need to be like ants. We need to get together. We need to find resources. And we need to be to the part where we help each other. We live in a community where money is not chief number one. Some of us have not lived on this earth long enough to understand that money should not be their all be all. Money should not allow us not to exchange resources with each other. It shouldn't limit us to it. It should be a point where, once again, not Can we get some sugar? Y'all got some sugar? There was no money exchange. When you send your child back across the street, no, do you have such and such? Fam, it's so much more important that I'm begging for us to be. Gardening is great. What's going on? Ask the lawman. I see somebody commenting on you. What's going on? Ask the lawman. Dana Springs, how you doing? Coming in with the T's in the chat. Good to see you. Seasonal Tree, how you doing, my queen? Good to see you. Family Man, what's up? What's up? What's up? Wow, you got skills on that land, my brother. That was quick thinking. Let me tell you something, fam. Adapting to new environments. Once ants arrive in new regions, their ability to adapt is remarkable. When things happen in your life, how do you recover? If you got financial challenges right now, what are you doing? When you can't seem to make it to the bag, or you can't seem to keep your necessities going and flowing. You can't seem to pay that rent. You can't seem to pay that car note. What are you doing in the midst of adversity? Now, understand, it's getting ready to get to a point where that car ain't gonna matter, that mortgage ain't gonna matter. It's gonna get to a point where food, shelter, your health, that's the only thing that's going to matter. For a lot of the world, that's already been there. It's not going to be missing a beat. For us, that's comfortable, that's cozy, we're going to find a situation where we're not going to be comfortable like we are now. When you see people that's there to protect you that run out of breath just walking up the stairs, when you see a depletion in resources, it does not mean they don't have the resources. We're not concerned about what you need. We are concerned about what our agenda is. When you got to understand principle mindset that, look, don't we get it, y'all? I got so much in my burning inside my heart that don't we get that, like, for instance, if I am over a community, I'm a politician, I'm over the community, I have to do what? I have to raise funds to do marketing, to leave my job and go to functions. I need money to do everything, to be on commercial ads, to do posters, to do online marketing. I need all of that. Now imagine if you sitting here and I'm talking to myself, man, I kind of like that guy, or I kind of like that woman, or I like that person, right? And I think I'm going to vote for that person, but I do nothing in my pockets. I do nothing as far as volunteering. I do nothing. I just say that I'm going to do that, right? And how many of us forget to go and do it? But in order for that person to even be seen now, they have to do marketing. So go with me down this road. Ants, if they need something to eat, they go out in forest. They go out and go for it. They don't go and say, look, I don't have no money. I can't go out and harvest anything. And they protect what? The queen. The queen does what? Provides more ants, right? We got to protect our queens, fam. We got to protect them with everything we got. We got to be willing to give life, because our queens are the things that allow us to populate and allow us to grow and grow and grow. We got to the part where we killing our babies. If your vote has to do with population, but they already told you it really don't, because you want the popular vote, but you didn't win. But if quantities matter, why would you kill your babies? Well, I won't have no money to feed them. I won't have this and that. Well, you shouldn't have no babies. You shouldn't lay down. No. What happened to let's stop focusing so much on freaking money and so much on freaking dollars and focus more on family? Focus more on helping each other. Focus more on building communities. Focus more on each other. What really matters. You busting your ass every day at work and you're not spending no time with what you busting your ass for. It makes no sense. You living out here, this world, and you paying these corporate companies money upon money, your time, and they give you nothing. You put money in 401ks and you get limited on how much you can take out. Some jobs don't even allow you to have a choice whether you want to put it in. And they said maximize, maximize, maximize. But if you gain knowledge and you gain experience, why can't you do your own plan? But we're not disciplined, and you're not smart enough, and you're not disciplined to save your own retirement. So we're going to take it from you. And then we're going to limit the access that you have to it. So if something happens, my car breaks down, my house tears up, something mess up, and I need the money I've been putting to the side because I ain't at 65, I ain't 75, but I just need to make it. I ain't trying to take everything out. No, you don't take your money that you save for, that you work for, and the corporations are getting interest off of your money, and they get a referral fee off of your money that you putting in, that you don't have no choice whether you putting it in. Then you put it in. Then when you take it out, oh, you're early. You're early taking this money out. And because you're early taking this money out, I'm going to penalize you, and more money going to go back to the coffers. And it's okay. It's all right. I'm about to have an accident trying to get to the job because my bus is late because I wanted to stay on the corner of a busy street with my child until the child got on the bus, and now I'm busting my behind to get to a job. Then when I get to the job, they say, you late. Next time, we're going to write you up. But my bus was late, and my child, I don't care about your child. They don't tell you that, but they tell you that. And you sacrifice time and time and time again. And then you get one individual or one aunt that say, hey, you need me to stand at the bus stop because I don't have to go to work at 9 o'clock with your kid. And then you watch the media, and the media say, they're going to rape, they're going to do different stuff to your child, they're going to do all of this stuff. And we lost the trust upon each other. There was times when I stood at the bus stop, Gigi stood at the bus stop with our kids, and there was parents that couldn't stay there, but they left their kids with me. And you know what I thought? Them kids, I would lay down my life for them kids. Nothing would happen to them kids. Them kids sometimes start to play a little bit. I'd be like, hey, be careful. Don't run. Y'all stay off to the side of the street, because the street was busy. Cars was flying. And some people it blew my mind. They'd be in our own neighborhood and they be turning, because we was on the turn side, like a turning lane into the neighborhood. And they'll be, and I'm like, what you flying for? You willing to risk kids like a child could just run out? Y'all know kids could run out easy. Growing up, I seen friends of mine lose their life just being kids because everybody was so busy in a hurry. And they know that it's neighborhood. But we don't care about that. We don't think about our community. We don't think about our kids. We don't think about nothing, because all we doing, we just doing boom, 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 boom. But ants, on the other hand, an ant will go and find a food source and leave a chemical trail and emit a chemical trail to allow other ants to come and find food for the colony. I can go outside right now and step on an ant bed. And do you not know before now and tomorrow morning that ant bed will be rebuilt? You think one ant did that? You think one family did that? Fam, we're going to have to realize that we need each other. We're going to have to understand that nature is teaching us what we need to do. But somehow, this ain't popular. I don't expect it to be popular because it don't take that many to make a change. Don't take that many to make a difference. That's my point about that one ant landing on that small toe. I am over 6 feet tall. I'm what? Right at 200 pounds, right? One ant could make me curl, bend my back, and curl over and reach out and touch my pinky toe. One ant. And you know what? If there's other ants around it, they gonna be all in it too. It's sad, fam. It's sad what we're doing because we feel helpless and don't have no control. But where ants differ between us is they don't look at their size. They look at the strength in numbers and they understand the power that they have. They have overcome hurricanes, flooding, storms. They've been deported, transported, imported, exported, and they still survive. Because you know what they have every time they get here? They have unity. And whether they have abundance or not, they still going to find a way to survive. We must have the mindset of ants. We must get over what we want all the times. We may need to start focus on the colony and not keep being focused on ourselves. We have prospered in so many ways by looking out for self over these few decades because it's all about empowerment. But guess what built that foundation for the empowerment? Unity, community, and people. I used to know what my postman looked like, or my postwoman looked like. I used to know the community police department or police officer in my community, whether we liked them or not. I used to know who buried people in my community. I used to know when somebody passed. I used to know who gave out the food and who didn't give out the food in my community. It wasn't that we didn't have population, but we had community. And in order for us to make a change at all, we got to understand that we must have a mindset that's building on the foundation. Understand, and don't come for me about this, but I always say, just like I said about all these other topics, Bill Gates don't care nothing about you, and I don't mean that negative. But what happens when Bill Gates care about humanity? And some people say, he don't care nothing about humanity. Let me tell you something. I don't know what Bill Gates care about. But guess what? Bill Gates got influence. He got power. He has resources. And whatever he cares about, he's passionate about. And even if he did care about humanity, there's no way anybody that cares about humanity won't say that, look, there's a problem here, y'all. We emitting fuel, gases. I got a video coming up. I'm riding down country roads, and you know what I see what people do on country roads? They throw all of their waste out on country roads. When rural areas, you know what people do? They take it to the country and they throw it out. You want to know why they throw it out? Because the city want to charge them and tax them and make it hard for them to get rid of waste. When it used to be where people gave you money for getting rid of metal, for getting rid of objects, for getting rid of different things, we've got so greedy And we've gone so much to the leaning of corporations that cities, government say, hey, we can cut a deal. We'll get rid of all your metals and we'll process all of that. We'll do all your recycling, this and that. Let's sign this contract. Let's do this contract. Now, when we come in, we're not giving the public anything for it, but we want to actually charge them to send it in. But we're going to give a green initiative, and we're going to show that we're basically about the environment and we love the environment as we recycle those consumer goods. Now we're going to sell them. We're going to do whatever we need to do to sell them off back into the market, and we'll give you some money back in response to it. But the people will pay to send their damaged or no non-needed goods back to us, and we're going to charge them for it. What sense that make? What sense that make? But this is the world we're living in. Well, what we'll do, because we want to promote recycling, we'll give a recycling bin, we'll give a recycling tote, recycle your newspaper, recycle this and that, and we'll give a discount off of your utility bill because we will gain something back from that. It's so many different things that we are getting pimped on that it frustrates me. And then we get to the part where we were like, wake up, people. Let's stop doing this, right? Let's stop doing what we're doing. Let's change our mindsets. Let's get together, maybe on one or two things, and let's move forward to where we can truly benefit. Let me tell you, fam, these little cities and wars that you don't think that can happen to the U.S., they're practicing for what's going to happen here. And not only here, Britain, everywhere else. These are practice zones. And some of these situations that you think is your own government turning against you, no, it's really them defending what could really happen in some cases. Have you ever thought about, I hear all these conversations about, and some people, they make me scared of them because I view them as, like in Proverbs, you're not wise. And what I mean by that, you got some people say, do not pay attention, don't get caught up in the reason why this stuff is happening, but focus on results. You can't figure out what's going to happen unless you know where it's coming from. If I got boo-boo in my house and it's stinking all the time, my results is to pack up and leave when it could be a hole in my pipe. And if I don't trace it down and figure out where it came, it could be a hole in my freaking pipe. Or if I got my dog keep escaping and I keep buying puppies and I keep losing puppies and I don't find out where they're escaping at in the fence, I just let them keep escaping. Or I just find another house. It makes no sense. We got to find out where this stuff coming from, where it's going, and you better learn your enemies. You better learn their mindset, and people that don't want to focus on that or entertain that, they're very deadly, very deadly. And as they say, you want to remove yourself around them because they are compartmentalizing, they running away from the source of the truth. But ants, on the other hand, wait a minute. Some just stepped on my brother ant. We're going to attack, whatever it is. I seen cows move from ants in the country. I seen birds fly off from ants in the country. I seen big grizzly dogs. I watched on a game cam a coyote sniffing some dead meat, and ants got on him and he shook it off and took off. I seen the power, the strength of unity. And with that unity, it did not matter about size. It did not matter about what we're going through. Fam, we're going to have to wake up and understand what the source. What happens if you find out, okay, let's give you an example. What happens if you find out It wasn't the United States or the government controlling the manipulation of storms. It was another country controlling that. And you found out that America was using stuff to keep it from being so destructive. Because the world war that happened in the past is not going to be just invading, bombing. The war will be financial, mental, internal, technology. Yes, if we can do some things with the weather, don't you know other countries can do stuff with the weather? Sometimes you might be attacked, but they don't want you to panic. Sometimes there may be strains of this that's coming out, but they don't want you to panic. Sometimes it ain't your own people that's turning against you. Sometimes they really don't want you to know the whole truth, and they suppressing so you don't panic and so that you can still be unified and still be strengthened by each other. And sometimes it is internally. Don't negate that. But you got to open your mind up to understand that none of this cares about you. Who is the closest thing that cares about you? Who? Who do you have access to the closest thing that can care about you? It's us. The everyday person, the everyday working person, the everyday person that you see every day. And you say, they don't care nothing about me. Most of us don't even know each other. We don't even entertain it. We don't even try to entertain it because we so much trying to live on the level of Bill Gates, which we can't even fathom. I had a conversation with Gigi today. I said, imagine if there was a big corporation and you came in on bottom level, on tier level as far as employment. I ain't talking about you as an individual, but I'm talking about employment. You don't know what your supervisor know. You don't know what they supervisor know. You don't know what middle management know. You don't know what executive level know. They are not thinking about what entry level is doing. The only time they think about what entry level is doing is when there's a big impact that impacts the whole thing. Hint, hint, ants. The only time it becomes a concern is when it impacts something on a higher level. So therefore, when you talk to politicians, when you talk to corporations, the CEOs, if you're not talking to something that they care about or that connects to them or affects them, you're not talking at all. You're a bunch of noise. It's just like walking in the woods and you stepped on, in 1 mile walk, you stepped on trillions of ants and you ain't never thought about it. That's how life is. Walking through the woods. And how many people walk down cities or through country roads or in the yard, in the grass, and they step on ants and don't even think nothing about them. That's how that high level is. Now, some high level are thinking about humanity. But they know that at the rate we're doing and what we're doing, there's no way we can all survive and be kumbaya. There's going to have to be casualties, just like war. They understand that. Just like war, there's going to have to be casualties. Okay, let me put it in not so harmful, so much blatant. If I'm running a corporation and if I see that I got waste over in plant B and plant B is not doing well, for whatever reason, it's actually causing the whole corporation more money. And I decide on a high level that I need to let plant B go. We need to shut it down. Or maybe before we shut it down, we need to start. I don't want to shut it down because I care. Let's talk about compassionate CEO. I don't want to shut it down, but I know we got to shut it down. By 2026, we're going to have to shut it down. So what can we do to slowly let people go? Just say I'm compassionate. Really, it's best interest for me to just shut it down. But I say, hey, what can I do to slowly convert everything and allow them enough time to see the paint on the wall without me telling them where they all walk off, where I can just slowly decrease the production of that plant. What can we do? We're gonna, because drivers being affected, the community being affected that it's in, the taxes being affected. It's so many stakeholders in that area, employees, and the employees spend money in their community. And when that one plant shut down, it affects their whole community, sometimes the whole state, right? But I know I got to shut it down. And then when you let 100 people go, they're attacking the CEO. And the CEO saying, it wouldn't hurt me if I just shut this thing down. But I'm trying my best to slowly let it go. And then they let it go. And we're mad. We're upset. But it was a business decision. And this is what I'm talking about, where they don't care about you as an individual employee. I don't mean that they're not people with compassion or care about things. You're just not in the frontal of those things. So what you have to do is you have to diversify your sources of income. No matter what you're doing, you have to make sure that you try to pay stuff off. You have to make sure that you invest in certain things that you can, and don't be one-dimensional what you're doing. You have to be responsible enough to protect yourself. And then guess what the community has to do? Community has to do is, now we got this corporation here, we got this business here that's providing resources. We have to now entertain other businesses to bring more job and competition to this area, just in case this one thing closed. Businesses, we have to have businesses not only here, we're doing well here, but now let's expand to other areas, just in case if this plant closed, I can shift employees to another place. We left that somewhere along the way. We left having the thought of humans, and now we're transitioning to AI. And fam, I'm trying to tell you, when you got, it's either this or that. Remember Social Security, remember disability, remember the Department of Health, remember the Department of Environmental Protection, remember all this, and we saying we don't want none of that. We want small government, and we want big corporation, jobs, and we're forgetting about the people. Because if we forget about the people, we will have discord everywhere. I mean, everywhere. And that's why we don't know who to trust. We don't know who to believe, because we all out for self, and that was the whole case. You know, the most productive is the one that advanced, but now it don't matter. You know, now we are in a time where if you come on to a job and you're a great worker, you work hard, you go above and beyond, you typically will stay in that capacity. You won't advance in a lot of cases unless they can duplicate you. If they can duplicate you, then they might advance you. But if they can't, if you're irreplaceable, they're going to find reason, maybe give you a little bump up, but to keep you there, and you won't grow to your full potential. And you're going to end up doing what other folks don't want to do or don't do or half behind do. You're going to be covering them, and you're going to find yourself where you're going to work so much and hard till you're going to get burnt out. And when you get burnt out, they're going to find 2 and 3 places, people to replace you or a machine to replace you, because they've already made their investment for when you burn out. They already have thought about when you burn out, because it's just like that machine where I said it's an item on there to run to failure. And it's not personal. It's facts. You're going to work your behind off, and they already labeled you to run to failure. And it was from the beginning. And there's nothing you can do about it. Or is it? Or is it? Fam, we got to think outside the box. Survival through the wars. Did you know ants survive wars? Do you know you can find ants where there was nuclear hits? Do you know there's places full of acid, hazardous waste, and you can still find ants? The animals will die, and some of the ants will still be there to eat them up. AB said ants are real soldiers. Pay attention, fam. I couldn't agree with you more. What does it take? What do they have that we don't have besides the physical characteristics? What can we learn from them? What can we learn from them that we can add to our lives? What's up, Miss Shirley? OG Garden. So true. I don't know my neighbor and really don't want to. One more time. And Miss Shirley has been around the block a while. She's like me. She's seen some things. And this is where we come to. I don't know my neighbor. I don't really care to. And I get it. It's because of what we've been through. It's because of our past on Home Depot don't really care for Lowe's. Don't care what Lowe's have far as success. Home Depot, McDonald's don't care about Burger King unless it affects what they got in the house. Then they start to care. If it mess with their bottom line, then they care. Don't y'all understand? We've become just like them mindset because of the treatment. We have exchanged whips for a time clock. We have exchanged all of these different things, Jim Crow laws, for labor laws, where they tell us when they're going to give us a break and when they're going to. If I'm tired, I'm tired. If I need to take a break, I'm going to take a break. Well, it ain't 2 hours in. And we police each other. Which, if you do your history about police, why were they there? Fam, I don't know what it's going to take. And some people may not agree with me. Some people may say you're delusional. But I'm just screaming. The British is coming. The British is coming. There go that crazy dude on that horse yelling again. The plane, the plane, the plane. If you are in a city and you got people stacked upon you and around you, and you don't care and you don't want to care about who around you, criminals care about that. Thugs care about that. They manage their block. They regulate their block. Drug dealers know what's going on, and they're going to know who and how and when on their block. But we ain't even protected. We ain't got no clique. We ain't got no nothing. And we don't even care what's around us. And when that shit hits the fan, don't cry. Don't yell. Don't scream. Just let whatever happened to you happen to you. Because you ain't want to know, you don't need to know. And I hope to God that that's not a true case, but it might happen. It might just happen. And I don't know how to tell and express and plead to my people to wake up and pay attention. And y'all better take care of each other. Because I'm building a squad. And we're going to defend it to the end. And I can't save you. I'm going to be too busy worried about saving myself and my squad. And I'm telling you, fam, I'm telling you, even if we're not overtaken, when these big box stores leave your neighborhoods because people stealing and pillaging, and you got people that's raiding this place, don't y'all understand that, don't y'all understand that people watch from other countries and they already know our habits and our routines, our cycles. They already see our vulnerability because they're looking from a lens. They got glasses on that we don't even have, right? Oh, that's what they do during a hurricane? Oh, that's what they do during civil unrest? Oh, that's what they do after the election? That's going to be an opportunity. When the lights out, that's what happens? That's how they knew how to get resources coming over here. They have learned from us. And we advertise it on a daily basis. Oh, this is all you need to do in order to get this, in order to get this federal funding. This is what you need to do. Check out my face. And we don't watch it. We don't watch it. This is how you get a 8A certification. This is how you get a DBE certification. This is how you get a interest-free loan from the government. This is how you get it. And we won't even watch the video. We won't even share it out. We won't do none of that. But then you know what they're doing? Oh, shit. Oh, my goodness. So when we get over there, this is what we can do. And then we can do this and we can do this. We can do this. And that's why we still sitting on the porch of a rented house that's falling apart, that's going up on rent. And we watching these raggedy cars pass by and people walking and they filled up in cars. And now we watching the 4-wheel drive. They done move from raggedy cars to buses to now 4-wheel drive trucks to now tractors and everything else. And we like, that ain't right. That ain't right. Because they doing what we should have been doing. But I don't trust you. That's too boring. I want to know what Diddy doing. Big Meech is out. Who gives a fuck? He destroyed this and he did this in the community. And it's 30 years later. You ain't say nothing then. You ain't had no beef then. Matter of fact, where your coat at? You finna get ready to do that? What you finna do that, girl? Where your coat at? I'll hold it for you. What else you need? Oh, I respect him. He laying it all out. He telling the truth. He exposing all this. God, where have we gone, folks? 50 million. Cash apping. Go to his concert. Go to her concert. I love them. I'm infatuated with them. But we talk about unity. We talking about coming up with game plan. We talking about saving your food. We talking about conserving energy, diversifying what type of energy, finding you a space that you can try to protect and try to build a community. Because I'm telling you, when the big dogs come in this country, you're going to be an ant. They ain't even studying you. And some ants will get walked on. I get it. But you and your little homestead, you and your community, they ain't stunning you. They going straight to the head. If you got a lottery tickets and you know there's a winner in a bunch of lottery tickets, are you going for the $2 lottery ticket win or the $1 million ticket win? You're going for the $1 million ticket win. That's why these rich folks shaking their boots. But we ain't smart enough to be like, what you growing this time? I'm growing some collard greens. I'm growing some cabbage. What you growing? Well, I'm working on this spring. I got such and such, such. Okay, so this is what we'll do. I'm finna grow these collard greens. I'm gonna grow a few more rows. I'm gonna give you some collard greens. And when them potatoes get harvested, or when them tomatoes get harvested this spring or whatever, can we share with it? Yeah, man, most definitely. Yeah. Matter of fact, let me tell you, I got some chickens over here. We need to process. I just need a little help. Man, let me tell you, if you give me a couple of chickens, I'll come over and I'll help you process them. And then that way we can get it done and handle your business, and then we'll be good. Man, I know that my bank account gonna be over the limit, but I ain't got but $1 on my card. And I'm finna go to this gas station because if I can swipe it, I can fill up my tank for the week, and I won't have no food for the rest of the week. And I can fill up my tank and I can make it back and forth to work. Just long as I make it back and forth to work, and then the process and the cycle end, because by the time I do get paid, I'm gonna be behind because I'm overdraft. I did this. But then you sitting next to somebody that you don't know, that you ain't even introduced yourself, that you ain't even built no relationship, no bond with, who in a ashtray got $20 worth of change and would give it to you in a heartbeat. And God say, oh, ye a little faith. You want to lean onto your own understanding. You want to do your own independent thing. Then I put things in place for you. You starving and you don't even know because you don't even speak. You go in there, you hit the garage door, you fly in your garage, you shut the garage door, you go in the garage in your house, and you send your child out to go to the mailbox because your neighbor outside, but you ain't paid no attention because you got a privacy fence about 10 feet high, but they over there growing herbs, gardening, everything, and they got more than they can handle and would gladly share it with you. And you struggling next door. But your yard is cut because the HOA be on your butt. Come on, man. Come on, fam. What we doing, fam? What we doing, fam? What world we in? Don't you know? I'm leaving this country. You still got to have a community. You still got to build a community. You still got to get to know people. You still going to get burnt by some. You still going to be tested. You better test them now when you good. You better vet all that stuff now when you good. That makes absolute no sense. I don't know what it is, but if what I'm saying don't make no sense, I get it. I get it. If my plea to you don't make no sense, I ain't talking to you, season tree, because I know you. I know that ain't what you comment about. But it's some people sitting back saying this don't make no sense. Fam, these ants can teach us so much more about ourselves. And guess what they do in an ant bed if too much humidity comes into the ant bed? or there's too much overproduction of mold that can take over and they can create a bacteria where they can't breathe, you know what they do? They move and transition their net to another one. Or they open it up and create other ventilation spots. You think one ant does that? You're in charge of ventilation. Why don't you do the ventilation? No, you're in charge of ventilation. Man, I'm in charge of getting the food. Man, what you mean by you in charge of getting the food? Right now, you put the food in here, going to spoil unless we get some ventilation. I don't care about that. I ain't finna do no ventilation. I don't do no digging. I just go get the food. I done went out all day, got the food, and now you talking about some ventilation. I ain't finna do no ventilation. That's why I don't like dealing with y'all. That's why I don't like even interacting with y'all, because y'all always want you to do the most. But if you don't do the ventilation, the bacteria come and you dead. Make it make sense. Make it make sense. If we don't work with each other, we don't interact with each other, we don't unite, and I don't understand this. Guess what happened? You're done. You're done. But it's just one of them things, fam. AB says, even the Bible says, consider the ants. Hey. They add responsibility to hard workers. Yeah, all day long. All day long. Right now, if you go into a place and you're new on the block and you work and you do more than what the average person does, you will have more responsibility. You will also have an expectation level higher than your counterparts. Your evaluation may even be not equally balanced because you done set a bar that you work at a certain level, and now they're expecting a continuum or even an increase of what you're doing. And imagine this. You got a project, a very important project, needs to get done. And you got 3 individuals. One comes to work all the time, on time. Another one comes every now and then, but they do great work, amazing work when they're there. And then another one, they're there to the best of their ability. They work hard. They consistent. They dependable. They do a good job. Which one you going to give a project to? And you got a serious deadline. It happens every single day. Now they say, now imagine this. When the 8-hour work week first started, I hate I even say that. When an 8-hour day first started, right? Do you not know that now we talk about how sorry our young generation is? Do you not know at a job they work more than what we did growing up? Some people are going to challenge me on this. I didn't say physical work, but they do more job tasks than what we did when we were growing up. When I worked at a grocery store, if I was a stocker, every now and then I might have to bag, go up front and bag. But my majority of my job was stocking. And depending on what time I got off, I didn't clean, I didn't mop, I didn't do nothing. But when I was a bag guy, when I did bagging, I mopped, I cleaned the restrooms, I bagged groceries, and sometimes even stopped based on shortage. But the level up was being a cashier or a stocker. And if you were stocking, especially if you worked that sweet hour in the morning to early afternoon, you did far less duties than entry level. But your pay was higher than the entry level, even though the entry level did more work. Then if you moved up to maybe team lead or shift lead, your primary job was to do a little bit of maybe stocking, just say stock lead. Do some stocking and manage people. And you might got 50 cents to $1 more per hour. Why should it still be the same right now? Now let's flip the script. You go into these stores, okay, let's say dollar store, general dollar store. You're pissed off and mad because they ain't got no customer service. But let me tell you what they do when they come in. They come in, they unlock the store. They count they take out the money for the cash register. They log into the system. They put the money in the cash register. They log into the system. They check the inventory. They put stock up. When customer come in, they check them out. When customer need assistance, they go help the customers. If customer can't find nothing, they go back to the back room. They go find it. They come back. They may sweep. They may clean. They might go out in the parking lot, pick up stuff. But they're getting paid that one thing. It's the same thing. Before, back in the days, okay, corporate America, you came in. If you was accountant, all you did was accounting. You didn't have to take out no trash. You didn't have to do purchasing. You didn't have to do receivables. You didn't have to do audits. You didn't have to do HR. You didn't have to do onboarding, training. You didn't have to do none of that stuff. Because you know what they used to have? Trainers, accounts receivable. They had janitorial. They had HR. They had everything. Mid-level, immediate, lead, mid-level, high-level, executive assistant, office assistant, clerical assistant, secretary. They had so many different pieces to now you're running whole organizations by yourself. And yeah, you get paid more than people back in the days get paid, but now let's go into relative. You used to only make $14,000, $20,000 a year, but a house didn't cost but $30,000 to $40,000 a year, right? 2 to 3 times your salary. You really could afford, based on where you grew up at, a $15,000, $17,000 house was a decent house in the South. I can't speak to nowhere else, but that's the South. So you made $15,000, $17,000 a year, and really your 1 year pay was the same thing, but you could get a house, and you didn't get robbed, stuck up, or nothing. You were good. And when your kids got home, your neighbors looked out for them, and they fed them. And if you were married, you had one person in the household that stayed there to help raise them and help take care of them, discipline them, education, all of that. And you still was okay. You wasn't rich, but you was okay. Now you're making 100 G's. Now you're making 80 G's, 50 G's. And you drowning. You drowning. Everything you get, you got to pay for. Everything you do, you got to pay for. Even stuff you don't use, you're not even there to use it, you got to pay for it. That's where we at, fam. That's the world we living in. And guess what? There's no responsibility. There's no community support. There's no government support. There's no nothing. You could be making $15,000, $16,000 a year and you still can get WIC. You still could probably get some food stamps back in the day. But where have we gone? Not that I want any of that, But at least if it was there, you could at least see it and touch it and feel it. So if you pay taxes, you can at least feel it and touch it and see it from on the upper level all the way up to the high level. But somehow, do you think right now, if there was a series of situations compared to 1950s, 1940s in this country, where some of these government entities was erected, do you think they would create a government entity to help with inflation, to help with jobs? You know, it used to be where people used to pay bootleg lottery in the South, the night house. You chose 1 through 100. I mean, 0 through 100, I think. And you chose the numbers, and people in their various locations would all write the numbers down and submit them in. You pay your 50 cents, you pay your $1, you pay your $5, whatever you want to pay on that number. And guess what used to happen? The person that wrote the numbers, they used to get a little money for writing the numbers. And then they submitted the numbers to a larger hub. And then everybody won, and everybody could count people in their neighborhoods that won that money, right? And they'll be like, you did 25? Yeah, I hit on 25. I hit on 25 too. There was no like, you hit on 20? No, I hit on 25. I hit on 20. I played 25. Everybody got their money. And these little night houses and places like that, everybody get a cut, and people used to win. And it happened every single week, every single day, every single night, right? But then that's a problem. We're not getting the taxes off of it. Now, what we're going to do, we're going to create an entity, Department of Lottery. And we're going to shut all of this stuff down. We're going to police it and shut everything down. No one gets nothing. And then we're going to start this organization. And then you all are going to play these beautiful, pretty little tickets. And then we're going to compile all of that revenue into one lump sum. And we're going to give a portion to education. We're going to give back to you all, little people, to add value to what we're doing. We're not going to be accountable for what we spend, where we spend it, however we want to manipulate all this stuff, but we're going to do this. And first, if you sell a winning ticket, we're going to give you a nice little pot to the realtors, or not the realtor, to the stores that sell the winning numbers. That thing went down. You could win $1 million. Their store would get 20,000. That thing went down to 10,000 to 5. Now they barely get $1,000 now. But where all that money go? And no one talks about it. You hit last night. You hit last night. You hit. They talk about it, but ain't nobody hitting. Ain't nothing being dispersed. And oh my God, you sure did slow down the amount of people playing lottery and addicted to lottery. You ain't slowed down nothing. They more addicted than anything now. But you know what? At least in the past, when it was evenly distributed amongst community, people saw some results. People had hope. People was able to do things. Ain't no difference between healthcare. Ain't no difference between social services. Ain't no difference between the intent starts off sweet, starts off nice, and then greeds come in and take over and suck and suck and suck. And we keep paying into it, paying into it, paying into it. It used to be when you used to get any type of interaction, you know, now how do we get constantly? It used to be you had dirt roads. With dirt roads, you didn't have speed limits. You had accidents, just like you had on regular roads, but you didn't have these situations. Now you got zones, you got automation that even if they can't figure out your tag number, they may replace your tag number for a tag number that kind of squint and feel, instead of saying, hey, dog, that one I can't make out. I'm gonna let that one go. They got these automated scanners that scans, and you don't even hardly know they're there, and then they get these speed little traps, and then they scan it, and now they're replacing police officers, and then you come back a week or two later, and then you get a ticket, and you're like, what? Miami? I wasn't even in Miami. How did I get a ticket? And I didn't even go to Miami. Matter of fact, that's a truck. That ain't even the same make and model. It's same color, but that's a truck. And I got to inconvenience myself to go to a system and then get online and then go talk to somebody and then get this and do that. And they take no account or responsibility. Like, I just wasted hours of your time. Here's something, because we make a profit for doing what we're doing. But here's something. You know, if they did that, we would be out of business. Let me tell you, your time is your money. For you to have to go down and then go to a place and then they process stuff and then they don't have the right information, or they have given you some misleading information, you should get money back from that. If everybody getting, why you can't get nothing? The problem is we're giving so much of everything to these corporations once again, but we won't even say, hey, how you doing? Let's do this. Because we're not having conversations. And the fact that we're not having conversations, we're not sharing some of our common struggles. And because we're not sharing some of our common struggles, we cannot collectively have an opinion or have anything. And then therefore, guess what happens? Nothing gets done, and they get stronger and powerful and powerful. All because of us being comfortable with being by ourselves. All because of that. Ants unify for a common goal and purpose. Everybody knows and does their part for the good of the whole unit. That's survival. Unity for sure. God above all. Urban Garden Chronicles, what's going on? So true. Change one shackle for another, but we still change. They expanded the plantation, my friend. Plantation was already big. Now, back in the days, you had mainly one or two sector of people. Then you had your overseers. Then you had another one that managed them and did this. Now they pushed everything all together. And now we do it all. And we say, okay, I need this. I got to have this. I need it to happen for me. From what I've seen, people in the country take care of each other and look out for each other, not so much in the city. Country changing, my friend, because more and more people are buying up country land. I'm seeing farmland, generational land being sold. Right now, if you're selling land right now, you're winning right now. Because the real estate market is doing some crazy thing, but people getting rid of some of these. A lot of these old school cats, they leaving this place, man. And I'm talking about time, because most of their kids and stuff, they don't even want to have nothing to do with going back to the country. They don't want to have nothing to do with that. And so I'm watching more and more people now. These baby boomers are now getting 80 plus years old, and a lot of stuff that they passed down and they obtained and they didn't work for, a lot of people not willing to put in the work, and they became disconnected from what have been the sole work of some of their parents and grandparents, that they're leaving these situations. So it's getting funny right now. What's up, Vision? What's going on? Bless up. The strength is in numbers all day long, all day long. Most nations that were not taken over national powers, they're not that big, but there were numbers and the unity and the numbers and the difficulty that they said, cut your losses. And in business, you do the same thing. You know, I really want a storefront over here. I really want to put a store over here. And it's so much potential right here. And then you open up the store, and then you look at the store, and then you market it, and you do this, and then you try to do some stuff in the community, and then you try to keep that store going, but there's not no support on that store, and that store is not being supported, it's not being utilized. Guess what's gonna happen? They're gonna shut it down. They're gonna cut their losses. And that's the unity in numbers. That's what happens. You know, they're studying our vulnerabilities. Yes, because this is how powerful that I don't really believe we understand that automation and technology is really going to inhabit our world. Me growing up in the 70s to the 80s to the 90s, I watched what one chip could do and how it changed all of our lives over 30 years. I see the same thing going on with this AI. And you're going to have a lot of people with nothing to do. And when you got a lot of people with nothing to do, it's almost like when I was in elementary school. You had a classroom full of elementary kids. And then the teacher says, I'm finna step out for 1 minute and I'll be back. Now, I'm gonna leave a kid in charge, and you write down their names on the board if somebody, but y'all continue to do what y'all working on, and I'll be right back. And be good. Before that door can slam, the children are wilding out. That's my experience. They throwing crayons, pencils, they chasing each other, they playing tag, they doing everything. Don't you understand they know the same thing about us? You ain't got no job. You can't get no job. You don't have no resources. You trying to find something to do. You can't find nothing to do. Now you hungry. Now you need a place to stay. That's a problem. That's a problem. But guess what? You ain't bothered about that if you're on another level until the problem becomes a problem with you. But meanwhile, when you're in the mix, just say you do got a job. Just say everything's okay with you. But everything around you is chaotic. And you have no alliance, you have no unity, you don't know nobody, you just doing your own thing, and you going to work and coming back. When you go to work, you're going to find stuff missing. You're going to go to the store, you're going to have a box, you're going to have a delivery, you're going to see stuff missing. You're going to have people peeping in holes you didn't even know. And because you didn't get to know your neighbor, you didn't get to know the person around you, this and that, you got nobody to either at least tell or say something. They darn sure ain't gonna say nothing these days. You ain't got to have nobody to screenshot or the video what's going on. It's just reality, fam. It's reality. Be Rich, appreciate that, man. Thank you, sir. Thank you. I saw that up in the chat. Gigi, thank you for your super chat too as well. Keep the help coming to the people. We have to be thinking out the box. Yeah, we got to think outside the box. I don't think we really understand. See, I remember, and I know I watch my videos and I watch the age groups, and I know a lot of my audience understands what I'm talking about. I remember when a decent, nice neighborhood had what we call shotgun houses, where you can open up the front door, open up the back, and see right through it. Where you might have a mixture of maybe 2 to 3 rooms in your whole house, where people took a bath in the kitchen, and there was a bed off to the side in the kitchen. Some of y'all don't know nothing about that, but I remember that. I remember when you walked in, number one, your alarm system was somebody stepping on the step because you heard the creak of the step. I remember when you found out whether somebody was in a house or not by looking through a crack. through the door. Right? I remember when you walked in, you could see the dirt in little cracks through the floor. I remember when you needed to take a bath, when you had to boil up a pot. And you boiled a pot and you sat it in the kitchen. And I remember when people took a bath out the pot, right? And I still even remember my great-grandfather had an outhouse. And even some of my friends growing up had outhouses, right? That was just, that was even in the 90s in the South, the early 90s, the late 80s, early 90s. This is real stuff. Where they had spider webs. The attic was the ceiling, and the spider webs were older than the people staying in them. I remember that. And I'm not talking about the late 60s, the 50s, the 40s. I'm talking about this was in the late 80s, 90s. I remember going to people's houses seeing this kind of stuff. I remember when people lived in one room, hint, hint, ouch, ouch, when we opened up the stove, opened up the door to the kitchen, and closed off the whole rest of the house, and we pretty much slept on the sofa just to stay warm. Because the rest of the house was drafty. It was empty. Do you not know the 90s ain't that far from 2024? One little bloop hit, we could be right back there. I remember I worked at Habitat for Humanity, so I seen far worse than that. I remember when Habitat for Humanity first started. But we done about eliminated all these resources, all these nonprofits. We done let corporate greed overtake these companies, these corporations. So we're gonna have to rebuild all of that stuff. We're gonna have to rebuild everything, because everything, nothing new is under the sun. And I'm saying, fam, when you're in survival mode, you ain't got time to redo your roof. You ain't got time to fill that crack. You ain't got time to replace that window, that door seal. And it's going to slowly get a little bended. Then a storm going to come through, and you might not have the money, even though your home paid for, to pay for that insurance. You might have to give it up. And then you're going to watch that house get the buckle and bone. And some people going to be fine. They ain't going to miss a beat. But some people, they're going to go through it. But the difference is back then and now. What's different between back then and now? People had communities. The same house that had all the holes and stuff in it, she cooked soup. The people that walked the streets, some of them was turned up, some of them weren't turned up, some of them just hungry, and they needed a 10 cent, 15 scoop of soup. She sold the soup off her back porch because Social Security wasn't paying for her to stay where she was staying. But the soup allowed her to go to the grocery store, allowed her to get a car. Guess what she did with the car? She got an old man to run a taxi. So when we in the community need a ride, when people didn't have no ride, couldn't afford to keep no car, you know what we do? We all piled in the car. You know what we did? We went to the grocery store together. You know what we also did? We put everything in the trunk of the car. Did we segregate our food from the rest of the food? Sometimes we did not. You know what we also did? We chipped in on the ham and cut half the ham, gave this half to this person and that half to that person. Because we couldn't afford to buy a whole ham. If we could afford to buy, it would have took up everything else. You know what we did? We had gardens. When we had fruits and vegetables, you know what we did? We shared it. When we had holidays, we cooked. And the people that were older, that couldn't really do for themselves, guess what we did? We cooked for them. Guess what the little kids had to do? We had to go with a pot and tinfoil and go over to the house, cross the street, down the street, and give them that and ask them to come back and give us our pots back. Right? Some of y'all don't know nothing about that. Some of y'all don't even know how to do that. Why have our babies tried to figure this out? Because we're going to be doing whatever we're doing. We know the survival mode. Most of us forgot. But we ain't teaching. And we're not living by example. You know what we're teaching? We're teaching how to be isolated. No see, no hear, no speaking. Oh, that's sad. That person got shot. Oh, I thought they were robbing. I wasn't sure they were robbing. My last house. I lived next to a retired police officer that sat in his window every day. He smoked cigarettes and watched TV every single day. Even during the night, he sat there and looked out that window. The neighbor on my other side got robbed. I had my window shades up and I saw some movement, which they had from time to time, but this was some different kind of movement. Then I saw some guys come out the back of the house with big duffel bags with a bunch of stuff, got in the car from a different car that dropped them off. And I didn't even see them guys walk in. I don't know where they came from. They got in the car, they bagged out and sped off. And I said, my neighbor just got robbed. And I ran out. And guess where I went? I went to my neighbor's house because I know he was sitting in the window. And I said, I know you didn't call the police because you know everybody on the police force. You retired, you well known. You know, he said, I thought I saw a car come through there speeding like that. And I wondered what was going on because I know I ain't recognized the car. And I'm like, what's the purpose of you sitting here in the window being nosy and got previous experience? What's the purpose? That's what we're doing with our cell phones. That's what we're doing with when people come to ask you about this and that. I don't know. I can't help you. I don't know. But Lord, if somebody come or kicking in our door, what you mean by you ain't seeing? What you mean by this and what you mean? But we done did that so long that now we don't fellowship. We don't talk because we done killed the trust system. But somehow we got to rekindle it. And the only way we're going to survive is us getting in the mindset like ants, my fam. That's the only way. We're going to have to let this stuff go. Rob in the garden. We are in a steady decline, and the zombies are going to be your next door neighbor. I guess we are just waiting for that multi-level catastrophic event before these zombies get activated. And the zombies that I believe Rob is talking about is people that we can't relate to, we can't communicate with. Some of them are going to be high on drugs. Some of them are going to be manipulated through DNA and all this other stuff. Some people are going to be like operatives. It's going to be a lot of different disruption. And it's going to be slow. We see it happen every day in our communities where, dang, man, I remember at one time, I knew everybody. Now I don't really know nobody. Oh, dang, man, I remember it was one group of people that we had similarities with. Now, it's all kinds of people in our neighborhood. I don't know what they do. I don't know what they're up to. I don't know nothing about that. No man is an island. Amen. No man is an island. I'm finna jump out of here, y'all. You know I love you. Gotta pay to just breathe. Yeah. And if you don't pay, what happens? I remember them busting that night. Yeah, I remember too. Yep, the lottery commission, all of that. Where that money go at? They had a chance back then. You know, we still got a chance, fam. We still got a chance. We still sitting in a comfortable chair, relaxing. chilling online. We say something, we Google it. We want to know about something, we Google it. We do all these different stuff. We still got opportunity, you know. But it starts with you. It starts with you as an individual. And you got to want it. And you got to want to do it. So I love y'all. That's the reason why I'm talking. And I'm hoping that if it's one or two people listen, hopefully it'll be beneficial. But nevertheless, we gotta keep growing, family. We gotta move past our feelings. We gotta stop being so emotional. God, dog. You can't even reason with people now because we're so emotional, fam. You know, law enforcement coming on. We fighting. We all out in the street fighting. We all fighting in front of our kids. Recently, man, I had a parking lot incident, and I find myself just like you too, where I don't want to get involved. I don't know what's going on. I might lose my life, but then I'm like, enough is enough. I seen what I found out was a girlfriend and a boyfriend that got a child, and they can't meet at each other's houses, and they both got their companions with them. So the girl got her boyfriend, and the boy got his girlfriend, and they exchanging the child. So the dad is there to pick up his daughter. His girlfriend is there to drop off, her ex-girlfriend there to drop off the child. And they arguing. They loud, they arguing. And this is in the Walmart parking lot. They just going at it. They don't care what's said or how it's said. And they going at it. Then next thing you know, the mother goes after putting the child, she put the child in the dad's car in the back seat. The dad girlfriend got out and buckled her in, strapped her in, and they still arguing. They ain't missing a beat, but it's intensifying. Next thing you know, the mother boyfriend gets out. Then it escalates, and then he tells the boyfriend to get back, stay out of our conversation. Then it becomes a situation between them two. Make a long story short, the mother ends up going, grabbing the child, snatching her out the back seat of the car, pulls the child out, start fussing with the father, start fussing with the girlfriend. The boyfriend start getting it, and the child is in the middle of this fight. And now they starting to put hands on each other. So I got out my car. I go over. And at the same time, somebody stopped in the middle of the parking lot, another guy. We came over, and man, it was so intense. They lost sight of the child. This child is screaming and crying. The child is begging to be with her dad, but the mom had the child, and she fussing and cussing and slinging the child around in her arms, and she's so emotional, and he's so emotional that neither one of them are thinking about the child. And the sideline people, I get it. They ain't their child, but somewhere, somebody got to get out their feelings, out of their emotion, understand this ain't what we need to be doing at this point in this time, because nothing's good going to happen in this situation. Then it escalates. We got in between. We told the boyfriend to take the mother, go and just leave. We told the guy to get in his car and leave. Please leave. The guy, boyfriend, gets in the car, getting ready to leave, and then he says something slick out his mouth to the dad. The dad threatened to shoot him at this point in time. He said he finna put him to sleep on his mama and all this and all of that. And then it escalates, and now we're in the middle of this, and we like, dude. So we talk the dude down, and the dude speeds off, and he says, basically, he's gonna do something to him. And I'm thinking, ain't nobody gonna win. And my heart goes out to our young parents And I watch so many shows where these mothers and these family members and they fighting, and children all up in the mix and they screaming, they crying. And I'm like, we so emotional. And I get it, it's needed. That's us. But somehow we're going to have to stop and understand and look at the bigger picture, fam. Now that could have went so wrong. That man could have pulled something out, shot us all, including the child. Because the mama was with the child. And the anger that both of them had amongst each other, I don't even know if they even saw the child. I don't even know if they even saw the child. And we just got to calm down, fam. So imagine if we are under attack and we gotta cohabitate. There's a catastrophic event where we all gotta stay with each other. We all gotta unify. Can you imagine the descent when we can't even come together as family members, as parents? I can't even imagine us dealing with strangers in a serious situation when we need to calm down, we need to relax, we need to gather ourselves, and we need to be told what to do and understand that, look, this is coming from somebody that's experienced. It used to be where people used to be like, oh, there goes some grown folk. Okay, I'm chilling. I'm emotional. I'm frustrated. I'm mad as hell. But grandpa over there or Mr. Such and Such that came over, yes, sir. I understand, but that ain't right. I understand. Okay, all right. It used to be we were still emotional. We was in our feelings, but it had to be some type of authority to come and you calm down. But I watched grandparents being slung around. I watched grandmothers, grandfathers been hit, slapped. So what do you think gonna happen when law enforcement come or when any enforcement or what we call authority come? They're not coming in with patience and loving and understanding. They're coming in to fix the situation and diffuse the situation first and secure the well-being of the child. And when you're all locked up and you all can't take care of your child, and then now you're leaving it to the wolves that raise and keep your child where you can't protect your child, you're going to have to play chess over checkers. You're going to have to understand that you're going to have to dial it down. Win the war and not every battle. You're going to have to understand that some things are bigger than you. And there's levels to this thing called life. You're going to have to strategize and be quiet sometimes. Shut up. Listen. Calm down sometimes. Bite your tongue. What happened to that? It's going to be some time where your life going to matter over being right. I had the right of way. I went through that light because I had the right of way. But a transfer truck came and wiped you out. But you were right. It makes no sense. It's wasteful. And it hurts a lot of people that care about you and depend on you. The ant community understands that it's not going to always be agreeance in time. And sometimes I'm quite sure some ants take out ants. But you look at the community of ants overall, they together. They move together and they meet the needs of the colony. So think about it, fam. Think about what we're doing. Think about our most precious gift. It should not be you, our most precious gift. Once you have a life into this world, it should transition. And we should make a fashion over not having big families. We should make a fashionable situation over not spreading our gift to the world by having abundance of family. But we should be there for each other. We should share with each other. We should help one another. We should encourage one another. And we should sacrifice for one another. Because at the end of the day, ain't nobody gonna save you. Don't nobody care. But our community, we should care for each other. We should understand we all need each other. We all need each other, fam. People were more respected. People was less influenced and had values. Don't mean we didn't still have rapes, child molestation. Everybody want to go to the bad, but what happened to all the good? Where you can leave your doors unlocked, leave your car unlocked. What happened to the part where you could tell your neighbor, I'm finna be out of town for next week. Can y'all watch the house? I'm fixing to go to the store. Can you watch the kids out there in the yard? You know? Can I please get some sugar? We got more technology and more resources than we ever had, and we so distant from each other. And we so much on the island. And we struggle so hard. And I'm watching the pain of our youth that don't even want to work. They ain't even 40 years old. And let me tell you this, don't want to work. And let me complete that sentence. Don't want to work like how we worked. It's not that they don't want to work. They don't want to do the foolish things that we did for so long. Because they weren't foolish at the time. They were what we need to do to survive. But the moment they think about change, we don't support them. The moment they want to push for change, we don't support them. We don't support them financially, intellectually. We beat them down. We suppress their dreams. We want to put them in a box that we just got out of. And it takes us 50, 60 years to start having the mindset that they got at their 20s. You ain't going to make it like that if you do it like that. Why not? Why they can't? Before civil rights came, y'all going to get killed. I'm not letting you out there. I'm going to tell on you. I'm not going to let that happen. We ain't never going to have freedom. We ain't going to never be able to vote. We ain't going to never do this. We ain't going to never. Somebody got to move the needle. And most of the time when the needle is moved, it's moved in the youth. And most of the youth learn from us grown folks. Now, we pride ourselves, 90s, we grew up in the 90s, we did this in the 90s, we did this. Guess what was happening? In the beginning of the 90s, and people reflecting on the 90s, you know what they used to see? Unity. They saw us having fun. They saw us living liberated. They saw us just chilling. They saw us listening to music, dancing. They saw us chilling on college campuses. They seen us chilling downtown. We shut down the downtown. We shut down McDonald's. We just had fun. We fellowship. Then guess what came out after that? P. Diddy. All this other stuff. R. Kelly, all that. We were showing our youth unity. But the moment you empower a mass of people in positivity, unity, focus, we will come after, as that letter said, who are your youth? Who are your influencers? Where is your leadership, as that letter said? Who's your community leaders? Who are your leaders? Send us a list of your leaders. Have you ever thought about who is the most, not that we should idol man, not that we should reveal man, but just in the African community, who is the most revered, celebrated life of any type of leader in our community? Now, we've been here for how many years? And I'm not talking about no dead person. I'm not talking about no dead person, because when they was live, we was I don't even want to talk about it. And then after they dead, we'll still pull up some skeletons and try to defame them. Why is that? Because they don't want us to be like ants. They do not want us to be like ants. They do not want us to be fellowshipping with each other. They don't want us to be in communication with each other. They don't want us to be in unity. They don't want us to expand our population. They don't want none of that. They do want us to celebrate the negative things that happen in our colonies. They want us to celebrate the negative things that tear down our colonies. They want us to uphold the things that help destroy our colonies and hold them up because they kept it real, because they're real. They're a G. They're a gangster. They're a thug. They took what they want. I still love. Come on, man. The slowest people are some of the most talented people right now. All you got to do is say something provocative and disrespectful, and then do something they wouldn't want you to do, and you will blow up. But then you share some tidbits about survival, support, love, unity, and as they say in the record industry, you won't even get a rotation on the DJ turntable. You won't even get a rotation. You won't even get none of that. But it's okay. It's okay. Because you listening, and just the fact that you listening, you can make that change. You can make that difference. Because I'm doing everything I can do. How about you doing everything you can do? And we do it together. And you're going to have some people that's going to come to you, going to tell you something negative about me when we do start to come together. You're going to have some people, they're going to say, he said, or what he meant by this, or you're going to even feel doubt based on some of the things I said. But understand, we are for the same cause. We're for the movement of everyday people. I'm going to say something you ain't going to like or not agree with. I'm not going to try to box you. I'm not going to try to allow you to be, oh, I'm in alliance. That's what they don't want you to do. You know what? I can go to Miami multiple ways, but don't miss the trip. I can hit 75, then Turnpike. I can hit 95. I can hit 27. I can hit 19 to 27. I can hit Alligator Alley. I can go by boat. I can go by plane. But we need to go to Miami. We need to build a colony. Man, you ain't come the way I told you to come, man. Why you ain't come the way I told you to come, man? See, that's why I can't get down with y'all, man. You don't even want to listen to nobody, man. You went down there and you went, but bro, I started the way you went, but there was an accident. Yeah, but you should have waited. But I didn't. I just went down Highway 27 rather than going interstate. We shouldn't be broken apart just because I decided to make a change. Because the whole mission is for us to build a colony, build a community, build a place where we go against negativity, where we go against, I'm not letting a thug be none of my children's or my kids or your kids' leader. I don't want no ex-convict being held high because they watch me jump for joy and keep watching and keep celebrating the life of somebody who had no regard for my community. Why should I keep doing that? And why would you hate me just because I'm here? I got my nail gun in the hand. I got my hammer. I got my shovel. I got some concrete. I got some supply. What's wrong? I'm here. What's our mission? well, I can't trust you because I told you a way to come and you ain't come that way. But guess what? Matter of fact, I'm here and I brought some people along the way. Well, if they with you, they ain't with me. If they came to Miami with you, I can't get down with them. I don't really care whether they're good or bad. I can't get down with them. That's okay now. That's what the world we came to now. I don't understand it. I don't understand it. I remember my great grandmother. It was some people she really didn't care too much for. But when somebody passed, somebody got sick, somebody died, she was there. Now, once everything got smoothed out, they still stayed cordial. They still spoke. They still interacted. But the moment something go down, they right back together. I don't see that no more like that. I see it sometimes, but in the abundance, when I say, when you drove up in the towns in the South back in the days, you had one side of the tracks, you had the other side of the tracks. And then as you go on the outskirts of the town, you had the country with no tracks. And everybody had to do what they need to do to take care of each other. But in the city, it was an understood rule. You stay on that side of tracks unless you need business and you need to have whatever kind of okay, and then you stay on that side. But you know what? On that side of the tracks and on that side of the track, there was a community and people took care of each other. It might seem discombobulated, but it was there. But OMG, when that flood came through them same communities, because we had some floods, the tracks disappeared. The train couldn't come through, couldn't none come through when number water though. Guess what? Everything disappeared. Guess what that community did? Boom. Came together. We gotta do better, fam. Season Tree, thank you so much. I really appreciate that. I really, really appreciate that. Thank you for supporting. I mean, it matters, you know. Like I said, everybody take time. Everybody sacrifice a piece of themselves, you know. It's funny how age ain't nothing but a number, or you know, give it to me, daddy, give it to me, daddy. People tell you all that. They tell you don't buy this and don't buy that, and you won't buy it. They'll tell you support this and you'll support it. But you give an eco neighbor just trying to be a neighbor. It is what it is. But so it be it all. Okay, you got me on this one. I don't know what I got you on there, man. I was thinking of this topic earlier today, like family and friends and communities and neighborhoods. Neighbors, yeah. We got to be neighbors, fam. We got to love each other. We got to support each other. We got to push on, man. And I ain't trying to preach. I'm just trying to contribute to the community of everyday people. Because when the job layoffs come, you got some people sitting in corners, they rocking because they don't know what they finna do. Because we getting to the end of the month, we getting to the end of the year, and it happens every year, but I think it's gonna get greater and greater. And then now we're looking at people trying to cut the food based on the moment that I watch some of these people be in command and I watch what they do. And the moment I learned about government and realized they not running stuff, this stuff, we shouldn't be so emotionally charged and connected to it because the power is going to be what they're going to be. Every time they say this person won by popular vote and they don't put them in there, no matter what party affiliation, that lets you know you ain't controlling shit. They let you know we'll do this to keep you entertained. We'll do this to keep you emotionally passionate. We'll do this to keep you emotionally segregated. We'll do this to keep you emotionally going after each other. That way you won't unite. You won't really deal with the real issues. And then while we doing this, pulling these strings and doing this and getting you charged and emotionally charged. We ain't finna let y'all mess this place up. Well, we're gonna be affected. We already got the people in place what we need to do. Y'all ain't finna mess this thing up. Oh man, they chose that one. That's cool. That's cool. That's what pick they did this Sunday. Oh, that's what pick they did this Tuesday. Oh, that's the pick they did this Tuesday. Okay. I can see why they would pick that, but this is what we're going with. Hey, this is what we're going with. And then you ain't speaking to your neighbor because he got this sign in the yard, and this person got this sign, and then this person is got this flag and doing this and doing that, and we all bending it over and taking it. And it repeats itself over and over and over and over and over again. Much love. I love y'all. Till the next time, holla at you. Stay blessed. Think about it, man. Think about how ants move. Think about unity, building a community. Y'all take care. Much love. Till next time.